as a Native American student, I do find that it is very important for students to be able to get educational opportunities, especially with higher education. What would you like to see as far as higher education for the Native American opportunities, especially on Indian reservations?
Well, I've been very supportive of tribal colleges for an important reason. Often, the people who access education at tribal colleges are non-traditional students, perhaps a little older, maybe have some children, couldn't find childcare or opportunities to be able to go to school unless they lived near relatives and had opportunities to find a place for their children. So tribal colleges, we have learned, and especially in recent years, are very, very important to educating Indian, not just Indian youth, but Indian adults as well. I gave a speech once to a tribal college graduation, and I asked, who's the oldest graduate here, as they were waiting to march into the auditorium, and they pointed out a woman, and I went over to talk to her, and turns out she was a woman who was about 40 years old, and she had been a janitor cleaning the hallways and the bathrooms in that tribal college. A single mother, 4 children, husband had left, and as she was cleaning the hallways and the bathrooms, she decided, you know, I'd like to do more. I'd like to achieve more, and she enrolled in the college. Well, the day I showed up, she wasn't cleaning bathrooms anymore or hallways anymore. She was a college graduate, and she was wearing a cap and a gown and a smile. And, you know, she did that herself, first and foremost, but second, she did it because, A, there was a tribal college there, B, we provided some funding for that college, and she had some Pell Grant assistance. All of those came together to give this person the opportunity to lift herself up and out of poverty.
Yeah, it definitely is important to have that opportunity as well as the will to go to college. And how do you think that we can get that sense of accomplishment, that sense of the want to go to higher education? How do you think we can get that passion to build on Indian reservations where wealth and poverty are just complete and total opposites?
You know, that's a really difficult question to answer. I think mentoring is really important for young people, to say to them, you know what, anything is possible, everything is possible. But it is hard to see that if you're living in abject poverty, living in circumstances where you probably have a broken family, and you know you're subjected to an environment in which there are gangs and drugs and guns and so on. I mean, we have a lot of children on Indian reservations who grew up in circumstances who never quite have gotten to the point of believing that anything is possible or everything is possible. But I think, you know, getting early to these kids in schools, creating youth clubs, and doing a whole series of things to say to them, you know what, the book of your life is a book that you're going to write, and you haven't even started yet, so write a wonderful book because you have that opportunity.
That's a very good answer. Why do you think a program to train Native Americans and Native American students in multimedia is so important?
Well, you are a good example, aren't you? I think, you know, part of addressing all of the things we've just talked about today is to communicate. And how better to communicate with American Indians than the development, as we've seen in recent years, of Indian radio, Indian television programs, all kinds of opportunities on Indian reservations to find ways to talk to people, to get the messages out. And so I think educating Indian students in the areas of communications to be able to go back and work on reservations or work elsewhere. But my point is, going back to work on reservations is very important. There was a young man who came to Washington, D.C. to be an intern of mine, and he was from an Indian reservation. And when I first met him, he was in school. He said, I'm going to be the first person in my family ever to be able to graduate from college, and I'm doing that because Pell Grants were available. We didn't have any money. And I said, what are you going to do when you graduate? He said, I'm going back to teach school on the Indian reservation. And so I invited him to come to be an intern in my Senate office. He did. He finished college, and sure enough, he went back to teach school on his Indian reservation. And then he ran for the state Senate and was elected to the state Senate. And it's a matter of developing the educational skills among Native Americans to be able to say to other Native Americans, you can do this. Part of it's the communicative side of it, and you have opportunities now, it seems to me, with the track you're on, to be an inspiration to others as well.
Well, thank you very much. Do you have any final words or final wishes to see in the Native American community?
I don't think so. I'm going to continue to be involved in issues affecting American Indians, and I'm leaving the Senate after 18 years and after 30 years in the Congress, but I don't intend to decide that these issues that have consumed a lot of my time are no longer important. I intend to work for these causes in the future in other ways as well.
Okay. Well, Senator Dorgan, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule for this interview. We appreciate your service to the nation, and we wish you so much success in the future.
Good. Thanks a lot, Ravyn.